All right, so Josh, this idea came from a real-life scam that your grandmother almost fell victim to. I love that you run towards that fear and towards that idea instead of, like, talking about it in therapy or suppressing it like someone else would. Instead, you created something that was so crowd-pleasing and delightful. Talk me through just making that choice of, like, yeah, I'm going to write this down and make it into something.
It was, I think, just her getting scammed, and luckily we, managed to step in before she actually sent the money in real life. But I think just watching her get duped that way was so rattling, because she's always been so stalwart and strong and just, like, such an anchor in my life, that I started just imagining what would have happened if she'd, sent the money. Yeah. And I feel like she'd do everything June did. And it just sort of got my wheels turning. And I'd been making these little documentaries about her throughout her 90s, just with my, shooting on an iPhone, just like little docs that I would cut together, just sort of, chronicling her life.
Yeah.
And I just sort of felt like I wanted to make an ode to her in some way, and our relationship, and just what she's meant to me over the course of my life. And somehow the idea of just, watching her go take things into her own hands felt fitting.
Yeah. June, I was shocked to realize and learn that this is technically, like, your first leading role on screen, which, first of all, this is long overdue, but, like, what a great first run.
Yes.
You know what I mean? What a
Couldn't
great
ask
first role.
for anything more.
Josh wrote such a wonderful part for you. What is your favorite thing about Thelma as a character, and then what is your favorite thing about playing her?
Both the strength that a woman of her age is very strong, and if she's determined, there's a lot she can do. And I felt that in the script, and I just felt, boy, that's going to be fun to do.
Yeah.
To do all the things that she did, that she wanted to do.
Yeah. Josh, the action scenes on paper could be, like, so mundane. Instead, these moments of, like, stealing a scooter or rolling across a bed or going up a flight of steps, which I literally gasped during, they feel really intense. Talk to me about building that tension as a director.
That was, I'm really happy to hear that. That was something that was important to me in wanting to treat the feats sincerely. Like, to basically take what would be challenging for someone her age and the stakes involved and the courage involved to sort of hurl yourself through it and treat that honestly. Because I think it's really easy to, it could be easy to make that the butt of the joke or to poke fun at the size, but that was sort of the opposite of what I wanted to do. I wanted to lean in. I wanted us to get into her subjective experience and realize how gutsy it is to do these things.
And valid that those fears and
that those we're all fragile.
Yeah.
Like, I feel, some days I feel sturdy, some days I feel like, I feel totally vulnerable to small inconveniences in the world.
Yeah.
And I think something about that, and wanting to really hone in on that and make sure those felt big and those felt impactful for her and hopefully for an audience was always really important to me. So I'm really glad that those came through that way to you.
You have such beautiful chemistry with Fred, which obviously there's something on the page and there's something between, Josh's relationship with his grandma on the page, and you took that and ran with it. But talk to me about building that relationship with Fred and just working with him.
Well, I think we sort of went into it before because they came over to my apartment and we read some scenes and we had lunch and things like this. And I just, thought he was a very lovely young man and easy to be with.
Yeah.
Very easy to be with. And so then when we started shooting, it was easy to do.
You guys had a natural chemistry. You really did.
And we became very good friends.
You can tell he adores you throughout the entire thing, which I did.
And I adored him.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did. And we had that all the time.
I love that. I have never seen... so this is some of the best scooter work I've ever seen.
There you go.
Some of the best scooter work.
She gets quite a bit of credit there.
So for both of you, talk to me about filming that scene, June, and then what was that like, stealing the scooter?
It was fun. My God,
I think that was a highlight for you. That felt like a day where you were. Yeah.
It was like, I loved it. And he didn't know this, but when I was supposed to hit Richard, they told me, everybody said, "Oh, be careful! Don't hit him hard, just touch him and we'll fix it. You
Right.
know, we'll do it. And I thought, what the hell? And I just zoomed into it. Pow! And then I zoomed off and I thought, oh shit, I've done it.
I thought you had lost control for a second of it. I was like, oh God, but I'm only learning now that this was all part of the plan.
Which
I wanted to do.
Which is very in character.
It is very in character.
Very in character.
It was reminding me of my grandma. I was like, Jesus Christ. Here she goes.
Have you actually met her?
No, and
Yeah.
we've sort of
I'm
talked
trying.
through Josh.
Okay.
And we were to have met, and then she was unable to be there and everything. And so we haven't, but we hope again.
It's high priority on the
Oh my
list.
gosh, I want to be a fly on the wall for that. I am so happy that Richard Roundtree's last performance is this film. Like, what a part for him, and just his range is shown so well. For both of you, what is one moment from your time with him on this movie that you'll remember forever?
Every time sometimes I would give him a note, and he would stand there and listen for a long time, like way longer than like on purpose, longer than he actually needed, and then he would just turn to me and say, "Watch this." Which I thought was always the funniest and most charming. He would he loved to kind of prank people very gently that, and just playfully. He was the warmest, sweetest guy. But anytime he said, "Watch this," I was always like, "Here he goes. He's gonna kill it."
Yeah.
June, what about you? I know you mentioned him in the press notes.
He was heaven. He was lovely, and I got to spend a lot of time with him. And it was just so wonderful to be doing that scooter and know that he was behind me, you know.
Yeah.
And it was my birthday during shooting, and he wasn't on set that day. And all once he came driving up with 24 roses for me.
Yeah, he wasn't called. He just
He
showed
wasn't
up.
called,
We didn't even
he
know
just
he was
showed up.
really
Yeah.
sweet.
He was just the best and the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah.
And still sexy at 80, whatever it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He was great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved him.
Over the past several years, there seems to be kind of a cinematic dedication to, telling the stories of an older demographic that Hollywood and pop culture kind of ignore. Last year, you had Jules and Moving On, which also starred Malcolm McDowell and Richard Roundtree.
Yeah, I know. It was weird. They were
But then also, you have 80 for Brady and the book club series and all of that. And all of them have captured the public eye, and this, I'm sure, will as well, because you are amazing in this movie. Do you think that something's changing? Do you think that, filmmakers are just, this is what interests them?
It's a good question. I hope something is. I mean, it feels like, these are, to me, what at the core of it, too, they're just human stories. And I think that's part of it is almost, I've was so close with my grandma from a young age that I've said this before, but I almost didn't think of her as old. I didn't think of her as this other thing. It's she was just this person in my life and part of the family, and someone who I had a rapport with and a love for and a closeness with, just as people. And I hope that there's just more and more opportunity. I hope June's performance and just
so good
is motivating in people wanting to center people of all ages, because
June, you're now an action star.
Yes.
They've said it. It's been in the press.
You have conquered the action comedy drama. What genres do you want to do next?
What comes next?
What genres do you want to do? If I say, I'll let you do whatever you want.
I just said before I wanted to a Western.
She wants to ride a horse.
I rode when I was younger quite a bit. So I was a good rider, but whether I could still get on one, I'm not
I think
sure.
the scooter was just a path to the horse.
Yeah,
To the horse.
yeah. Start there and go further.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks for checking out the show. If you like what we're laying down, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest stuff.